We are now live through our DPWH District Engineering Office, Davao del Sur YouTube channel. To all back members, TWG members, back secretariat, interested bidders, observers, and viewers, good morning. Our procurement proceedings for today is a pre-bid conference for civil works. So the pre-bid conference will now come to order. The prayer led by Engineer James.
Guide us to uphold the principles of honest competition and responsible stewardship of public resources for the benefit of the Filipino people. May the projects that will result from this undertaking contribute to safer roads, strong infrastructures, and improved lives of our communities. We entrust this blessing to your loving care and ask for your continued protection and blessings upon us all. In this we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Salamat, Engineer. Once again, our activity for today is a pre-bid conference for civil work projects. The 26 LD 0002, construction of concrete road, Marawer, Baruring Road leading to Tudaya Pools, Station 4 plus 522 to Station 4 plus 622, Digos-City, Davao del Sur. EBC 3,087,000 pesos. Contract duration 39 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0016, construction of concrete road, Barangay Poblacion, Barangay Dalawinon, connecting to Barangay Kasuga in support of the meat processing, Station 9 plus 468.5 to Station 10 plus 040.5, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. EBC 12,717,460 pesos. Contract duration 80 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0027, replacement of bridge, Miral Bridge 1 along Davao-Cotabato Road, junction Digos-Cotabato section, Davao del Sur. EBC 55,487,500 pesos. Contract duration 191 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0080, construction of multipurpose building, warehouse, Barangay Poblacion, Hagonoy, Davao del Sur. EBC 4,950,000 pesos. Contract duration 120 calendar days. Next is 26 LD 0191, construction completion of multipurpose building, office building, Barangay Tubod, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. EBC 2,475,000 pesos. Contract duration 70 calendar days. So may I request the head of the Secretariat, Engineer Casuga, to conduct a roll call and acknowledge the interested bidders and observers.
Once again, good morning. We'd like to acknowledge the back members, back TWG, back Secretariat, bidders, observers, for the pre-bid conference of civil works. Engineer Daisy Caniban, Miss Aisel Carla Uyaw, Engineer Rialin Santos, Engineer Winnie Ben Montañez, Engineer James Robin Salsuna, Engineer Raymond G. De La Cruz, Mr. Elton John Albert Terencio, Engineer Anelisa Bolsit, Engineer Vanessa Lasconia, Engineer Lois Claire Villa, Miss Lucrecia Gokong, and Miss Carla Arnel Lopez. Madam Chair, we issue notice to observers dated June 4, 2026 to Honorable John Tracy Cagas, Congressman Davao del Sur, to COA Audit Team, Mr. Eric Huminga, State Auditor, to Wilfredo L. Dicinas, President, Philippine Constructors Association Incorporated, to the Director, National Constructors Association of the Philippines Incorporated, to Mr. Carlo M. Batalla, President and Chairman, Crime and Corruption Watch CCW International Incorporated. To Honorable Jesus Isdurisa Jr., Municipal Mayor, Hagonoy, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Federico D. Campanya Jr., Punong Barangay, Poblacion, Hagonoy, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Jose Nelson Z. Sala Sr., Municipal Mayor, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Rowena A. Tabo, Punong Barangay, Sibulan, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Arthur D. Davin, Municipal Mayor, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Cesar G. Ternio, Punong Barangay, Dalawinon, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Nader M. Pinto, Punong Barangay, Kasuga, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Edwin G. Reyes, Municipal Mayor, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Jaime A. Torres, Punong Barangay, Poblacion 1, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. To Honorable Duna Rose L. Ebo, Punong Barangay, Poblacion, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. And to Honorable Juanito M. Ladisa, Punong Barangay, Tubod, Bansalan, Davao del Sur. That's all, Madam Chair.
Since majority of back members are present here, I declare the pre-bid conference for civil works is in quorum. So let's proceed to our agenda number 1A, the brief presentation explanation of the basic contract data including contract description, ABC, and duration. To be discussed for roads by Engineer Barry Apitan, for bridges, Engineer Robertson Acohido, and for building by Architect Armel Tan.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and to my colleagues. First, contract ID number 6LD0002, the project name construction of Tubod Road, Marawer, Baruring Road, leading to Tudaya Falls, Station 4 plus 522 to Station 4 plus 622, Digos-Cotabato, Davao del Sur. The amount of 3,087,000 pesos. Contract duration, 39 days. Source of fund, GAI 426. Location at Barangay Sibulan, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Sumpay lang siya sa itong project cluster 8595. Scope of work, operating existing road, a length of 100 meters. PCCP width of 6.1 meters or 3.05 meters both sides. Shoulder width of 1.5 meters both sides. So in the screen, typical section sa ito project. And for the road safety, they installed the statement marking for center line and each line sa ito project. So that's all for the 26LD 001202. Next project, with the contract ID number 26LD 0016. With the project name construction of Tubod Road, Barangay Poblacion to Barangay Dalawinon, connecting to Barangay Kasuga in support of mail processing station 9 plus 468.5 to station 10 plus 048.5 Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. With the ABC amount of 12,717,460 pesos. Contract duration 85 days. Source of fund GAI 556. Location at Barangay Poblacion, Magsaysay, Davao del Sur. Should be screen that color orange mo na ito ang project. Sampay na siya sa last year na itong project na 525. Scope of work, operating by existing road with slow protection. Totalan sa itong operating is 572 meters with a PCCP of 6.7 meters or 3.35 meters both sides. And a thickness of 28 meters. And a shoulder, have a shoulder width of 1.5 meters, a thickness of 0.15 meters, and a length of 506 meters at left side. And for the right side, 606 meters, the shoulder width niya is 1.5 meters, and a thickness of 0.15 meters. And also rotated roof wraps for protection, a length of 530 meters. So in the screen, typical section sa tuwang road with slow protection. Next, your screen that you can go sa slow protection. Next, for the road safety, with some pavement marking color white for the center line and each line sa tuwang project. So that's gonna do for the 26 release 0016.
So, good morning everyone. To our online viewers and interested readers, good morning. We have a total of 2 projects for the building projects. First, for contract ID 26LD0080 with the contract name Construction of Multipurpose Building Warehouse, Barangay Poblacion, Hagonoy, Davao del Sur, with an appropriation amount of 5 million pesos, an ABC amount of 4,950,000 pesos, with contract duration of 120 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. So the project or the proposed project will be located at the new barangay site of Barangay Poblacion, Hagonoy. Here's the vicinity map and the geotag photo. Then the project will be located near the new barangay hall of Barangay Poblacion. The LG provided deed of donation of the property for the lot ownership. Again, here's the 1-story building of the proposed warehouse for Barangay Poblacion, Hagonoy. So the building has a total floor area of 112 square meters, or with a dimension of 14 meters by 8 meters, with spaces provided are the following: a main entrance, a storage or warehouse, a lounge, office room, PW toilet room, and a pantry. The building would mainly compose of reinforced concrete columns and beams and steel trusses for the roof framing. And for the summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and appearances. And under earthwork, we have the embankment and excavation. And for reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete and the grade 14 and grade 60 reinforcing steel. Under finishing and other civil works, we have the termite control works, masonry works, fabricated materials such as the doors and the windows, finishing works such as the tile works, the ceiling, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing or sanitary works, which includes the storm drainage and downspout, catch basin, sewer line works and cold water lines, plumbing fixtures, electrical works. Then under mechanical works, we have the air conditioning system and fire extinguishers. Next, for contract ID 26LD0191, with the contract name Construction Completion of Multipurpose Building, Office Building, Barangay Tubod, Bansalan, Davao del Sur, an appropriation amount of 2,500,000 pesos, an ABC amount of 2,475,000 pesos, with a contract duration of 70 calendar days, funded under 2026 GAA or RA 12314. So here's a vicinity map which will be located at Barangay Tubod, Bansalan, near GKK San Vicente, Miral. Here's our geotag photo as well. So for the site development plan, the proposed project will be placed near an existing gym building. Next. So the LG provided a deed of absolute sale for the lot ownership. Here's our 1-story office building perspective. So the building has a total floor area of 42 square meters, or with a dimension of 7 meters by 6.5 meters. Spaces provided are the following: a main entrance, business area or lobby, clerical office, head office room, PW toilet room, and the service entrance. Again, the building will mainly compose of reinforced concrete columns and beams and steel trusses. So for summary of quantities, we have the general requirements, the permits and appearances. On the earthwork, we have an individual removal of tree, embankment, and excavation. For reinforced concrete, we have the 3,000 and 4,000 PSI structural concrete and grade 14 and grade 16 reinforcing steel. Then we have the thermal control works, masonry works, fabricated materials for the doors and the windows, finishing works such as tile works, ceiling, painting works, roof framing and roofing works, plumbing, which includes the storm drainage and downspout, then the septic vault, plumbing fixture, cold water, sewer line works, electrical works, and then we included an air conditioning system and fire extinguisher for the mechanical works. That's it for the building projects.
Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Robertson Pedro from Planning and Design Section, the bridge section. So I will be the one to discuss the 26 LD 0027, name replacement of bridge, Miral Bridge 1, B00150 mm along Davao-Cotabato Road, Junction Digos-Cotabato Section, Davao del Sur. Project cost is 57,500,000. ABC is tama na. ABC may kuno sa project cost. Project cost is including the ABC and the EO. Contract cost o appropriation. Sa case of moderation, appropriation niya is dako siya ba? Naigihuli ta dari na kwarta kay dili siya mahurot kay tungod sa katong abrupt changes of materials. The release budget in our case is 63,700,000. So contract duration is 291 calendar days. Source of fund FY 2026 gaan. So this project is located at the Bansalan Poblacion. Poblacion Bansalan. Next. So this bridge is composed of pre-stressed girder, 34.4 meter. Total length of bridge is 35 meters. Then there's a slope protection as abutment protection using steel sheet pile U type 4 meters. And also there is a concrete block in the bed of the river to promote or to prevent from scouring. Kay base actual, na scouring na nakita sa abutment 8. So munang nag-additional ni o scouring protection concrete blocks. So next. Dili na text ng itong sports na. So the scope of work is replacement of existing Miral Bridge 1. Gibungkag ang primero is replaced with 35 meters including approaches. Tapos gi-lift up gamay ang ato ang bridge kay dili na siya ka pasar ang the existing bridge kana past the design flood level. Next. So the abutment protection is composed of structural concrete with reinforced. So the abutment protection is double reinforced yung reverse kay doon siya sa tulay. Next. So foundation plan. Foundation plan is composed of board pile 1.5 diameter with 12 meter long, 3 each abutment, with steel casing permanent 6 meters from the top. Next. So the cross-section of bridge 3.66 clear width. Next. So this is the typical cross-section of the approach. Is remove and replace. Sa beginning sa atong section is natay remove and replace due to the elevation, difference in elevation. So atong gigukod ang katong existing na elevation sa pikas. So muna na ay removal. Next. So, typical cross-section sa approaching sa bridge, since atong gilip up ang bridge, so taas-taas na siya, gi-crack and set na lang ang konti para ang base is ligo na ang base, wala na gibungkag, crack and set na lang. Atong doon na kay nagsaka man tao, almost 1 man yata to ang gisaka na so tuloy okay. Dili na siya kapasa sa atong design na level. So instead na atong i-remove, gi-crack and set na lang para ang base is stable na tayo. Gitupong na to sa Miral to. Ang Miral 1, ubos man to ma'am. Gibungka, gisaka.
Level na siya sa kanang pagwala.
Next. So, there is inclusion of thermoplastic. Ang thermoplastic na to is right side lang. Wala na namo gi-appeal ang sa left side na side. Kay ang sa left side mo mapaul ka kay ang project is intended for nakalagay mo na S00163 while the other section is under in S00165. So, muna ang rason na wala na to gi-appealan o butang o thermoplastic ang left side. Okay, next. So, for the revetment, approximately, more or less, ang atong revetment is 200 in total. Next. So, cross-section of revetment. Ang atong revetment na both side, na po one side, kay na may existing na ato dito sa ato ang facing upstream, right side, downstream, left side lang, kay na naman. Ang ato ang upstream na, ang atong downstream na kuan may both side. So, aside, during implementation dayani kay naigihangyo ang katong pagtungo diari sa balay na katong doon na magukay sa ilahang balay niya concrete. So, giusab na to ang slope ato. Kato lang po na portion, mga 20 meters na lahi ang iyang slope kay para masave lang ang balay kay mo lang gihangyo gud na dili lang igon ang ilang balay. So, atong giusab ang iyang slope. Pero mubo lang kato lang 20 meters na length. The other revetment is ito nang sa standard na to na slope. Okay, marang ito ilang hangyugod na dili sila mo pasulod sila pero dili lang igo ng ilang balay. U-type na to ma'am, kay mo man to ma'am na naana mo sa CMPD nya di na ta para di na magkanbas. Mo man to last na na-discuss na to tong wala pa gani na program datong na si Ma'am Terak na CDE na kung unsa tong nasa CMPD as is na lang nato para dili na magdaghag kuan ba istorya di na ta mag-explain nga kanbas ta na pareha ra man gud ang purpose sa U-type man gud ug Z-type pareha ra ang purpose. Mas baga. Pero ang advantage sa Z sa U, ang U-type man gud ang iyahang axis, ang iyang neutral axis na tunong sa sinumpayan. So muna disadvantage sa U ug Z. Ang Z man gud ang iyang neutral axis is natunong sa sentro gyud sa Z. Muna na disadvantage. Pero kung sa uban, kung mga kuan pare-pareha lang siya. Okay, next. So muna ang ground seal 200 kabuk niya ang gibutang nato kay hamto ingon ni DE ilaras na lang kay na may storing good na observe sa kuan sa during validation. I-appeal na lang dato tanan kay para dili na mo further rocks. Gikan ni sa upstream, gikan sa bridge 10 meter 20 meter upstream hangtod paana. Total of 100 meters ang atong gi-cover ani na blocks ground seal. Tapos ang sa kilid ani niya 2 layers, then the other is 1 layer na pa. Isiguro lang nato ang sa kilid kay para mutupong siya sa capping. Dili na to kung may further storing, dili na kasulod sa dili ma-expose atong file. So next. Yeah, thank you for listening. Any question?
like also to acknowledge our observer. We have Rowena A. Capo, Punong Barangay, Sibulan, Santa Cruz. And Car Fabulas, IMAX Leaders. Good morning.
So, let's proceed to agenda number 1B. The requirement of bidding documents, including instruction to bidders, general condition of contract, special condition of contract, specification, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. On agenda number 1C, documents to be submitted by bidders. Agenda number 1D, criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. To be discussed by Engineer Rebecca Suela.
In the bid. The first bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. First, valid PhilJIP's registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages, in accordance with Section 20 of the IRR of RA 12009. QR code must be clear and readable. Failure of the bidder to update its PhilJIP certificate of registration with the current and updated supporting documents shall result in the automatic suspension of the bidder's certificate. Second, special PCAB license and registration in case of joint venture. Third, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Failure by the bidder to disclose all ongoing government and private contracts leads to automatic disqualification and potential blacklisting for misrepresentation. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments: 1. Copy of notice of award and/or contract. 2. Copy of notice to proceed issued by the project owner. And 3. Copy of certificate of accomplishment signed by the project owner or authorized representative. In case of no ongoing contract, the bidder shall submit this duly signed form and indicate no ongoing contracts under the column number 1. Dual purpose of the statement, all ongoing contracts. It is relevant in relation to the computation of the NFCC formula. The value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of ongoing contracts will be deducted from the product of the current assets minus liabilities multiplied by 15. Hence, for the procuring entity to determine the correct computation of the NFCC, the bidder shall declare all of its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. The statement of all ongoing government and private contracts still has its significance in relation to the verification on the bidder's performance in its ongoing contracts during post-qualification process. Fourth, statement of single largest completed contract, or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, in accordance with instructions to bidders, clause 5.5. SLCC must be equivalent at least 50% of the ABC. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments: 1. Copy of contract. 2. Copy of certificate of completion. And 3. Copy of certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or final rating of at least satisfactory in the constructor's performance evaluation system. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. Fifth, net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC computation, in accordance with instructions to bidders, clause 5.6. Computation as follows: current assets minus current liabilities multiplied by 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contracts yet to be started, coinciding with the contract to be bid. NFCC must be at least equal to the ABC. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments. 1. Copy of latest audited financial statement, or AFS. And 2. Copy of proof of receipt for AFS submitted to the BIR. Confirmation receipt for online submission or BIR receipt stamp for manual submission. 6th. Joint venture agreement, if applicable. Joint ventures may participate, provided that the primary purpose of each member must be similar or related to the requirements of the project. Each member of the joint venture shall jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity in case of breach or failure to comply with the requirements of the project. 7th. Bid security in the prescribed form and amount in accordance with instructions to bidders, Clause 16, and validity period, under Clause 15. The bid security shall be in the form of a bid securing declaration, or any of the following. The amount of not less than 2% of the ABC if bid security is in cash. The amount of not less than 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. Bids and bid security shall be valid for 120 calendar days from bid opening. 8th. Project requirements, which shall include the following. 1. Organizational chart for the contract. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. 2. List of contractors' key personnel to be assigned to the contract with their qualification data. These personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the bid data sheet. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents, attachments, letter of nominee, notarized certificate of employment, biodata, copy of PRC ID, PTR, TIN, and certificate of accreditation and/or training. Key personnel, particularly the project manager, project engineer, and materials engineer, must be different persons. Accredited safety officer required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 35, Series of 2021. First aider with certificate of training issued by the Red Cross in compliance to Department of Labor and Employment requirements for the approval of construction safety and health program required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to Department Order Number 35, Series of 2021. Compliance to DOE Department Order Number 252, Series of 2025. Revised implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act Number 11058, entitled An Act Strengthening Compliance with Occupational Safety and Health Standards and Providing Penalties for Violations thereof. 3. List of contractors' major construction and laboratory equipment units to be assigned to the contract, supported by certifications of availability, which must meet the minimum requirements for the contract set in the bid data sheet. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Attachments. Proof of ownership, ORCR, and affidavit of ownership. Lease contract and affidavit of commitment, if applicable. Purchase agreement, if applicable. Certification of availability of equipment issued by owner, lessor, or vendor. And certification of minimum laboratory equipment duly certified by any DPWH office. 4. Notarized omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 54.3 of the IRR of RA 12009, supported by duly notarized special power of attorney, board, partnership resolution, or secretary's certificate, whichever is applicable. 5. Latest General Information Sheet, or GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations. 6. ISO 9001-2015 certification, or its latest version, as applicable, in compliance with Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024. The second bid envelope, or the financial component, shall contain the following. 1. Bid form. 2. Bid prices in the bill of quantities. 3. Detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. And 4. Cash flow by quarter. Use the prescribed template provided in the bidding documents. Format and signing of bids. Bidders shall submit their bids through their duly authorized representative using the appropriate forms provided in Section 9 Philippine, bidding documents related forms on or before the deadline specified in the ITB Clause 19 in 2 separate sealed bid envelopes, which shall be submitted simultaneously, whether through manual or online electronic submission. The first envelope shall contain the technical component of the bid, including eligibility requirements under ITB Clause 12, and the second envelope shall contain the financial component of the bid. Forms as mentioned in ITB Clause 17.1 must be completed without any alterations to their format. No substitute form shall be accepted. Each and every page of the bid form, including the bill of quantities, under Section 9 hereof, shall be signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Failure to do so shall be a ground for the rejection of the bid. Any insertions, erasures, or overwriting shall be valid only if they are signed or initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Sealing and marking of bids. Bidders shall enclose their technical documents described in ITB Clause 12 in one sealed envelope marked as technical component, and the financial component in another sealed envelope marked as financial component, sealing them all in an outer envelope marked as bid. The bid shall be typed or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representative. All envelopes shall contain the name of the contract to be bid in capital letters. Bear the name and address of the bidder in capital letters. Be addressed to the procuring entity's bids and awards committee in accordance with ITB Clause 18.1. Bear the specific identification of this bidding process indicated in the ITB Clause 1.1. And bear a warning, do not open before the date and time for the opening of bids in accordance with ITB Clause 19. For manually submitted bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked, as required in the bidding documents, the same shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. On the other hand, unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes, or bids that cannot be opened or corrupted in case of online submission, shall be rejected. The Bids and Awards Committee shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid, or for its premature opening. Bid documents must be prepared on A4 size paper and properly labeled with ear tag, matching those on the checklist. All supporting documents, photocopied from the original, shall be legibly readable and will be authenticated as needed during the post-qualification process. Illustration for the sealing and marking of bids. The bidder shall submit one original and one copy one of the technical and financial components of its bid. Submission and receipt of bids. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic online. For bids to be submitted manually, bids must be duly received by the Bids and Awards Committee Secretariat on or before the scheduled date set in the bidding documents. For bids to be submitted electronically online, bidders should observe the guidelines for the electronic submission and receipt of bids as per Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020. Bids submitted after the deadline shall not be accepted. Email address for the electronic bid submission, electronicbids_Davao del Sur at dpwh.gov.ph. Bidder's responsibilities. The bidder, by the act of submitting its bid, shall be deemed to have inspected the site, determined the general characteristics of the contract works and the conditions for this project, and examine all instructions, forms, terms, and project requirements in the bidding documents. Further, the bidder shall bear all costs associated with the preparation and submission of its bid. The procuring entity shall in no case be responsible or liable for those costs, regardless of the conduct or outcome of the bidding process. Furthermore, the bidder should be aware that the procuring entity will accept bids only from those that have paid the applicable fee for the bidding documents at the office indicated in the invitation to bid. Clarifications and amendment of bidding documents. Prospective bidders may request for clarifications on and/or interpretation of any part of the bidding documents. Such request must be in writing and submitted to the Bids and Awards Committee of the procuring entity at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. Supplemental bid bulletins may also be issued upon the procuring entity's initiative for purposes of clarifying or modifying any provision of the bidding documents not later than 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. It shall be the responsibility of all prospective bidders, including those who have properly secured the bidding documents, to inquire and secure supplemental bid bulletins that may be issued by the Bids and Awards Committee. Eligibility criteria, evaluation. Eligibility criteria shall be in accordance with Section 52.4.2 of the IRR of RA 12009. Eligibility evaluation for the procurement of locally funded civil works contracts shall be conducted electronically using the Civil Works Registry pursuant to Department Order Number 64, Series of 2012. Contractors who wish to participate in the bidding are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works Application, or CWA, at the Procurement Service, 5th floor DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila. While those already enrolled shall keep their records current and updated. Preliminary examination of bids. The Bids and Awards Committee shall open the bids in public immediately after the deadline for submission and receipt of bids, as specified in the bid data sheet. In case the bids cannot be opened as scheduled due to justifiable reasons, the Bids and Awards Committee shall take custody of the submitted bids and reschedule the opening of bids on the next working day, or at the soonest possible time, through the issuance of notice of postponement to be posted on the PhilJEPS and DPWH websites. The Bids and Awards Committee shall open the technical and financial proposals on the same day. The bidders or their duly authorized representatives may attend the opening of bids. Detailed evaluation and comparison of bids. The procuring entity's evaluation of bids shall be based on the bid price quoted in the bid form, which includes the bill of quantities. The procuring entity will undertake the detailed evaluation and comparison of the bids which have passed the opening and preliminary examination of bids to determine the lowest calculated bid, or LCB. The Bids and Awards Committee shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria considering the following. A. Completeness of the bid. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bid data sheet shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. B. Arithmetical corrections. The BAC shall consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. The BAC shall evaluate all bids on an equal footing to ensure fair and competitive bid comparison. For this purpose, all bidders shall be required to include in their bids the cost of all taxes, such as, but not limited to, value-added tax, income tax, local taxes, and other fiscal levies and duties. Such bids, including said taxes, shall be the basis for the bid evaluation and comparison. Post-qualification. The BAC shall determine to its satisfaction whether the bidder that is evaluated as having submitted the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions specified in ITB Clause 5 and 12. The determination shall be based upon an examination of the documentary evidence of the bidder's qualifications submitted pursuant to ITB Clause 12, as well as other information as the procuring entity deems necessary and appropriate using a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion, which shall be completed within a period of 12 calendar days. If the BAC determines that the bidder with the LCB passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as lowest calculated responsive bid and recommend to the head of the procuring entity the award of contract to the said bidder at its submitted bid price or its calculated bid price, whichever is lower. Reservation clause. Notwithstanding the eligibility or post-qualification of a bidder, and without incurring any liability, the head of the procuring entity at any stage of the procurement reserves the right to review its qualifications, reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract in the following situations. A. If it has reasonable grounds to believe that a misrepresentation has been made by the said bidder. Or B. If it has reasonable grounds to believe that there has been a change in the bidder's capability to undertake the project from the time it submitted its eligibility requirements. Should such review uncover any misrepresentation made in the eligibility and bidding requirements, statements or documents, or any changes in the situation of the bidder, which will adversely affect its capability to undertake the project so that it no longer meets the prescribed eligibility or bid evaluation criteria, the procuring entity shall consider the said bidder as ineligible and disqualify it from participating further in the bidding process or being awarded the contract. Award of contract. The head of the procuring entity shall award the contract to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated responsive bid, or LCRB. The procuring entity shall notify the winning bidder in writing that its bid has been accepted through a notice of award duly received by the bidder or its representative personally. End of presentation. Thank you.
For agenda number 2, any questions or comments from the interested bidders and the other representatives of procuring entity? Okay. So for agenda number 3, other matters, it is informed to the interested bidders that cancellation of order of payment is not allowed without justification and valid reason, and also all bidders sending the representative must acquire a special power of attorney and should be specific to the project they wanted to participate. So for agenda number 4, the summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletin to be issued, to be discussed by Engineer Miral.
As of this date, no supplemental bid bulletin has been issued.
So if not, the pre-bid conference adjourned exactly 10:52.